Hey everybody, I'm Heidelin with Austin Entertainment Management here with my co-host Swear Words. Hey, what's going on, Mike?
What's up, Heidi? What's up, guys?
Hey, and then I also have joining us today Sarah Pace from Wanderlust Elevated. She's going to be helping us out with our conversation today about how to be at the right place at the right time. How you doing, Sarah?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm awesome. I'm kind of like all pumped up because the last 3 days I was in Orlando at the National After School Association convention. So it's still going on today. I had to come home. It's too much excitement. Now, it's still going on today, but I was an exhibitor there for School Beats. Have you guys ever heard of this program? So School Beats is this really cool after school program that's K through 12 where the kids actually run their own record label. And so they are doing the recording, they're writing the songs, they're learning about all of the people that you want on your music team. You want a lawyer, you want to have your manager, you want to have your PR person. If you're not a great singer, well, maybe you're going to have somebody that comes in and sings on the track. Who's really good at writing the beats and the music? Who's really good at being the engineer and the producer with the software? So as the kids are learning all of this stuff, they're also learning like geography and math and science, and they don't even really notice it because they're just like, yeah, we're writing and recording songs. So it was very awesome to be able to talk to these people that are doing after school programs and hear all about the talent that they see in really young kids in some cases. I had one person come up to me and tell me about some kids where like the kid acts out in class because he really likes to make drum beats on his desk, and so that's not really acceptable when everybody's trying to learn, but he teamed up with a kid that likes to write poetry, and he's like, hey, like you could turn this into a rap. So they spend time together in the corner of the classroom when they have time for that. And they sit and write their own songs in the corner. The one kid's like doing the beat, and the other kid is writing the words and doing the rapping over the top of it. So she's just like,
That's cool.
this program would be amazing for those kids. So
That's very cool.
it was so cool. It was so fun. Probably one of the best conventions I've ever been to. It was fun to talk about music as opposed to some of the past jobs I've had to talk about things. Nobody wants to talk about their house flooding or burning down, and that we should really like plan for those things,
Yeah,
You
totally.
guys stop at a booth to talk about that? No, that's not fun.
I'll run from the booth.
Right.
It's important, but it's not fun. So yeah, it was a really cool last couple of days. I'm looking forward to following up and seeing who's going to go with the program. So before we get into our topic for today, I just want to remind all of you folks out in Jacksonville, Florida, that this Sunday coming up, let's see, let me be nice and give the date, March 26th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Pine Studios is the monthly meetup, and it's a special one because it's their 1-year anniversary. So you can go to Instagram.com/meetupjax to see more details about that. And as far as other events that are going on, you can always go to howisthebomb.com/events and check out our event calendar to see what online networking and education stuff that we have going on. All right, you guys, are you ready to talk about how to be in the right place at the right time?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I think this is such an important topic because when I was asking questions when I was younger, going, well, how do people make it as a music artist? One of the things I was often told was, well, you have to be in the right place at the right time. Like, so what? Luck? What does this mean? Like, do you have any more information on this? So it's not luck. It's not luck. It's strategy.
Yes.
And that's why I have Sarah here with me today, because she's going to be talking a little bit more about what that strategy is. So let's talk about, first of all, being in the right place at the right time concerning finding who your fans are, people that listen to your music and are like, yeah, I like this. So how do you get in front of those people, Sarah?
Okay, so first of all, you have to know your audience. What kind of music do they like? Where do they get their information? Where do they listen to their music? What do they do for fun? Start figuring that out. We call that our target audience or our customer avatar in the business world. And by doing that and doing a deep dive into it, it will really help you get connected with the people that you want to be in front of that will appreciate you and your music and your sound.
So last month we were talking a little bit more about narrowing in on what your sound is and being okay with, when people tell you you sound like this particular band or music group or whatever, let your ego down a little bit. You're probably thinking, I don't sound like anybody. And that's kind of true, but it's not. You pulled little bits of influence from all over the place and you just made it into a combination. That's what makes it different. But there are similar elements in your music. So really breaking down what elements of your music are in what particular genres of music, and not like the big umbrella genre, but the subgenres underneath it. And you can just do a quick Google on genres. You can start with what the big genre is. I mean, we're going to use my genre of metal. There are so many subgenres of metal and continuing to grow. And that's how it's going to continue with every other genre of music. There's that big subgenre, but then there's all of these little subgenres, and they all kind of have their own little thing. And that is your biggest clue to where your fans are, because they like the music of that particular group that you kind of sound like. So like Spotify recommends, oh, if you like this, you might also like this group. So that's a real quick and easy way of doing it. So, okay, so once I have like this information about my fans, I know kind of like what their, maybe like their hobbies are, maybe they all like to ride Harley Davidsons or something, like maybe they all live in a particular area of the United States or something like that. So, okay, I have this information now, and what do I do with it?
Okay. So once you have that, I would say even before that, go back to what we were talking about last week about your brand archetype and figure that out first of all, because that's really going to help with your messaging. What I see a lot of companies, bands, people in general have issues with is mixed messaging. And that's a lot of times because they don't know their archetype. So there are 12 different archetypes: the innocent, the sage, explorer, outlaw, magician, hero, lover, jester, like everyman, kind of die girl next door, caregiver, ruler, and creator. So figure out which one of those you are. Last month, I shared a really great link to a brand archetype quiz from Kay Putnam. Fill that out, figure out your brand archetype, and then use that to start connecting with your audience.
Do you happen to have that link handy, Sarah, that you could put that in the comments on this video?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
1 quick second. And so the cool thing about this is that it will actually show you what other brands or celebrities are in alignment with your archetype. And then it gives you suggestions of how to, like, you know, different images, things like that, or types of images to use when you are sending out messaging for your brand, or in this case, your band.
All right, that's awesome. So we've just put that in the chat for everybody. So if you're watching, you can click on that and find out what yours is. So that sounds like a big shortcut in research time.
I would say when you're filling this out, make sure you're doing it quickly. Like, don't think too much about it because you can really get confused. And also keep in the forefront the archetype or the feeling that you want your band or brand to have. So I think my personal archetype would be like the girl next door. My Wanderlust Elevated archetype is the royal archetype. So think of like Tiffany, Rolls Royce, things like that is basically the category that my brand is going to be in one of these days once it's more than 3 months old.
Let's see. Okay. So now that I have this information and I got the shortcut and I can be like, okay, so these people like these kind of brands and stuff like that. So then what? Then what do I do?
Then you start getting your messaging out there. Again, kind of going back to knowing your audience, I would highly recommend having a business page for your band on Facebook and Instagram. Once you have at least 100 followers, it will start giving you breakdowns of, okay, here is, you know, the people that interact with your page the most are women between 25 and 34. So it will actually give you those demographics, which then can help you to do that. And once you know that information, do the best you can to start getting out and networking with those types of people. And even if you don't know those types of people, or there's somebody you do want to get in front of, get out and network, because I promise Jacksonville really is a small city once you start getting out networking and realizing who knows whom, and you know, the connections you're able to make are just incredible.
Well, and I think a good point to be made here, because people are going to see this outside of Jacksonville too. Jacksonville is the largest city by landmass. I mean, we're super spread out. We're a big, huge city, but really the truth of the matter is, when you get out networking, it is a very small circle. Yes. And I imagine that it works the same way in a lot of other different regions, because I look at Happy Neighborhood Project, which, by the way, is a really great place for you to go out and start doing some online networking for yourself.
Yes.
You can go to the website. It's like happyneighborhoodproject.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, great. Sarah's on that. But they have meetings all over the United States, all over the world, to bring people together. In fact, Joanna from our group recently just performed for the National Day of Happiness. I think that was on Friday. And but anyway, I notice when I go to different meetings in different areas, a lot of times it's the same people showing up. So even when you take something on a national level, there's certain people that are showing up. And once you put yourself into that group of, I'm part of the people that show up, people start to take you seriously. And they want to give you certain opportunities to do things. So the power of networking is really just being there and showing up. The music meetup in Jacksonville is only going to be helpful to you if you come down to Pine Studios on Sunday and you show up. I've met some pretty cool people down there so far. And, you know, I look forward to meeting more musicians around Jacksonville and finding out what kind of things, projects other people are working on. But there are so many networking groups you can go to, right, Sarah?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. You could spend all of your waking hours going to networking meetings and not getting the results that you're looking for. So
absolutely.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Sarah? Like, how do I choose, like, how do I know I'm in the right room?
So first of all, I would say definitely trust your instincts. I mean, if you are looking at, you know, networking groups online and maybe you're on Meetup, I mean, there are hundreds of groups on Meetup. So maybe you're there looking for groups and you see a group and you're like, okay, this looks interesting. And you do some more research and you're like, well, I don't really know if this is for me. I would trust your gut. If you do decide to go anyway, find out it's a good fit, great, keep going back. If you go and find out like, no, these really aren't my people, then I would say find another group. Also, the chamber
data
sites.
perspective, what you were talking about before with checking Facebook, I think a lot of times these groups you can kind of find out like what the average, like what the demographics of the people are that's showing up. You know, like if you're really resonating with women, well, maybe it makes sense to just target groups where there's a lot of women.
Right. And a lot of times the chambers, like Jack's Chamber, Clay Chamber, will have events on their website. I know the Clay Chamber because I am a member of that
chamber. Or any chamber in any state that you're in.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Chamber of Commerce is a great place for you to be able to connect with local people in your community that are entrepreneurs.
I mean, like one group that I would go network with would be the young professionals. Because, you know, young professionals, I know a lot of like millennials, Gen Zers really want to focus on their brand aesthetic and making sure it's on point. So that might be a group that I would go visit.
So in like that particular group, is it just networking or do you also get like some sort of direction, education? Do you know, have you ever been to one of those?
I haven't been to one. I've seen on social media they go out and do activities and stuff. I think the last one they went to an escape room. So it's a lot of network bonding too. I mean, the more you show up, the more people get to know you, the more they like and trust you. And that's a big, huge thing because 66% of people say that, no, wait, I'm sorry. It's 82% of people say that they have to be able to know or trust a brand before they do business with them. And 66% of people say that the brand's culture and transparency attract them to certain brands or businesses or bands.
Interesting.
So definitely when you're I mean, I'm not big on social media as far as like giving tips and tricks, but I would definitely try and post some stuff from your organic life too, as long as it's on brand with your archetype. I mean, so I went out for with friends last week, had some wine and appetizers at Cooper's Hawk, posted a quick picture in my stories because I felt like, you know, it's upscale. It goes with my archetype. Perfect. Now, if I go axe throwing, I probably wouldn't post a picture of that in anywhere on my Wonderlust elevated page because that's not my archetype. That would be Heidi's. So just like Heidi wouldn't post that picture of her wine and appetizers with like her purse and fancy sunglasses because that's not her archetype.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I kind of see what you're saying now. Okay. So let's talk more about social media. And this is a form of networking. And there are lots of groups that are on social media. So maybe you're already part of some music groups, but you can start to drill down once you have a better idea of who your fan base is. So Mike, you're on like a punk band group, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm on a couple.
So on that page, like, what kind of people are you finding on that page most often?
So here's what I'm realizing. Like I love like pop punk and pop punk culture, but it is also very different from me. So I'm trying to figure out how I balance that with my archetype because I was the magician. So like for me, like what I'm trying to do with like the pop punk vibe is like I feel like different because pop punk is it's mainly things about like lots of beer drinking, you know, smoking cigarettes, and like a lot of songs about like no authority and partying and freedom and that type of stuff. And some of that stuff I do relate to, but I'm also trying to take a twist. So I'm trying to kind of learn what is going on there and then trying to find my own way to brand it to my more tailored to my message.
So what is your twist? Like if you were to do pop punk and you're putting like your own message or spin on it, like what would be like what you're talking about in your songs?
So it would be the life coaching aspect, like the aspect of because I'm really into like emo music, you know, like pop punk emo music that goes hand in hand. But like the theme about emo music is like it's sad songs, you know, and I love emo, but I hate sad songs. So it's like it's hard. My whole thing is like I don't do sad songs. I do like um confidence songs, like self empowerment songs, like pick yourself up, don't stay down. So like um find working that theme into the pop punk is like what I'm trying to gravitate towards. So I'm trying to find my audience through that aspect. More people that would listen to like Sum 41, you know, as opposed to like I don't know, like MXPX, for example. So um that's where I'm at with that. Like I do see that like my genre of music and stuff like that, it is more of the things that I'm probably not going to want to represent. So it's a little bit more difficult for me.
I got you.
If
And
that
then I
makes
had
sense.
another connection there for a second, and I don't know if like we got all of that toward the end,
Hmm.
but this is what I'm gonna say. While you're talking, I googled like inspirational pop punk,
Uh-huh.
and so I found a Reddit thread that said, "What are your favorite happy, optimistic pop punk lyrics?" And so, anyway, I'm sure if you do a quick Google, you'll find that it popped up like at the top of the list. But go through that and see what
And
bands they recommend, and then see
Okay.
like if they differentiate themselves within the genre a little bit differently.
Okay. I dig that.
I mean, come on. Steven Spielberg is a magician. Like,
Yeah, true. That's cool.
and I'm looking at it right now. I actually tried to put it in the chat. I put the magician archetype and the royal archetype so that
Mhm.
people could see exactly what we're talking about.
That's
But
cool.
looking at the and it says like, well, I want to experience that. I'm on the cutting edge. I think both of those messages are perfect for punk music.
Yeah.
Like living life on the edge, like
Yeah.
feel
So true.
something.
You know, most people are
That's so
not
true.
living their best life, so I can't think of anything any more rebellious than saying, "Screw you! I'm not going to be poor anymore, and I am going to live my best life." I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yes.
True.
Grand voice,
True that.
expansive, moving and articulate.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, you guys make me feel better about this.
And
That's
then
pretty
one
cool.
last thing, the strategy, develop a vision and live by it. Help other people transform their lives using your new methods.
Abracadabra.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's inspiring.
And let me put Heidi's rebel archetype. It's actually the Maverick, but might as well be rebel. I just put that in the chat as well.
Yep, I've got all of those added into the.
And I feel like rebel would be really good for metal. I mean, like other people are wrong. Just, rebellious.
Depends what kind of metal we're talking about. We could be talking about Viking metal and conquering new lands, chopping people's heads off, or we we could be talking about like Game of Thrones metal, which is kind of similar, I think, but talks about Game of Thrones, or it could be like Lord of the Rings metal.
Okay. So can I just say I love that I'm looking at the Maverick right now, and Robin Hood is one of the characters that's a Maverick.
What? That's pretty cool.
I could see that. So what else is cool about Mavericks?
Tell me
Jack
Sparrow is also one of your people. You are rebellious and feel like other people are wrong.
Well, not everybody. There are some people I listen to.
It says the mindset is I've always loved the idea of not being what people expect me to be.
Mm-hmm.
Your brands that you identify with are Harley, Urban Outfitters, and MTV.
It's probably why I thought of Harley Davidson first when I was coming up with examples earlier. And yes, I love that I fall under MTV. That seems like I definitely picked the right.
Yes. And then Mike's are Disney, Lululemon, and Ted.
All right.
So I'm glad we're talking about this, and we got 2 minutes to wrap this up. So what's important to know about this stuff is now I can go to those brands. I can go to their pages on Facebook, and I can see what people are following their brands, what people are engaging with their product. And then I can connect with those people. And those people are going to be like, who's this person like sending me a friend request right now? They're going to come over and look at your page. And if there's something interesting on there, like, ooh, you've just posted your latest song or something about your band, there's a good chance they might just click on that too while they're over there. And definitely, now it's a new connection.
That's a big point too, is definitely look at those archetypes that it says you are like and follow them on social media. That will help you get ideas of how to put yours in place as well.
Yes, that was exactly what I was going to say, Sarah. There you go, reading my mind again. You don't need to come up with all of this stuff on your own. There have been successful people before you. Study them. What are they doing? What are their processes? What is their strategy? They have successfully been in the right place at the right time to make the sales for their ideal target customers. And in our case, it's our ideal target fans. So study that, pay attention to their strategies, and then start experimenting with it and see what you can do.
And I did put in the chat, I have an 8-week course coming up that goes over all of this in depth and will help you master your brand.
You did? I only see the Maverick one.
Hang on. I think it got lost. It's right here. Okay.
Awesome. I'm going to put that in the chat. Mike, do you have any final words for us today?
No, today I was more of the student and I learned a lot.
Good.
I would say that you were more than just the student, because you have definitely Well, you've definitely been doing your homework, and you had something really great to contribute, just talking about a specific example, which would be way harder to talk about if you had not been doing that work. So thank you for being accountable to yourself and your dreams and doing all of this stuff. And that is why we're here with Austin Entertainment Management. We're here to give you the insight and the education to do what it is that you want. And then the more you get involved with us, when you get involved with our groups and our meetings, we're going to hold you accountable to what you say you want to do, and then help give you the resources, the tools, the skills to get there. So thank you, Sarah, for joining us today, and your insight on branding is always so helpful when you join us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, no problem. And I'm Heiselin, and I'm signing off for this week's Austin Entertainment Management.